Welcome to Golf Training Hacks and Part 3 in our series on improving the function of the spiral line. When you're trying to improve your golf swing rotation and power production, it's helpful to think about muscles not as individual units controlling individual joints, rather think of them as a system of systems with communication networks. Obviously, the most important communication network is the central nervous system, but an often overlooked network is the fascial line network. So what's a fascial line? Well, you can think of a fascial line as a network of innervated connective tissue that creates a mesh over your muscles, and that mesh is also infused into the muscles, and this helps integrate movement. You have fascial lines from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head. You have superficial fascial lines, which are closer to the outside of your body, and you have deep fascial lines. Now, these fascial lines can be helped by using soft tissue techniques to reduce the tension and stiffness in these fascial lines. And when you're doing that, you're also helping improve the blood flow and reducing the stiffness and tension of the muscles associated with those fascial lines. In this video series, we've been working on the spiral line because the spiral line is very important to rotation. So what's the spiral line? It starts at the top of your foot, works along the side of your shin, kind of like this stripe, along the side of your thigh, runs along the side of your hip, goes across the front of your hip, across your torso, into the opposite side ribs, then it runs across the back and up into your neck. So clearly it's pretty important for rotation. In this video, part 3, we're going to work on the bottom portion of the spiral line, which is the top of your foot and the outside of your shin. In parts 1 and part 2, we worked on the middle section and the upper section. So let's work on the spiral line and finish off with the bottom section, which is the top of the foot and the lateral shin. Let's finish off releasing the spiral line by working on the shin and the top of the foot. So to do this, you can use a roller or you can use a peanut. Now a peanut, you can buy these at a sporting goods store or on Amazon, but I just taped 2 tennis balls together with some athletic tape. And you might want something that's a little softer with some spikes on it, something like this. Now you don't need this. You can do the whole exercise with something like this or a roller. So let's get started. We're going to work on the shin. Now, since we're at the shin, let's work on the front of the shin too, as well as the side, because the front of the shin can often get painful, shin splints, people who run a lot, there can be problems here, and rarely do we work on the front of the shin. So what I'm going to do is take this peanut, and I'm going to put the middle of the peanut right on the shin bone, okay? And I'm just going to roll up and down. So from the front, you can see I'm putting it right in the middle, and what I'm going to do is just press and release, and press and release. That's why it's good to have something a little softer. Okay, so let's go from the side. I'm going to put the peanut right in the middle, starting at the top of my shin, right below the knee, and I'm going to press and release. Take a deep breath and release the exhale with the press. Deep breath in and release. And now you can go up and down the shin just doing that. All right, that going to take care of the front. And as I've said in the part 1 and part 2, I'm just going through these exercises quickly. You need to spend time on this, okay? So you're going to go all the way down the shin, right down to the top of your ankle, and we're going to do the same motion. Now, to hit that spiral line, we're going to do the same thing, but we want to move our shin on an angle, right? So we're trying to get the outside of the muscles in the shin now. So I'm putting the shin bone in the middle, but I am moving off to the side. And I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, so if you can see that, now I'm pressing along the side of my calf muscle. I'm going to do the same thing. Now, you can, if you find a tender spot on any of these things, you can just put pressure on it, right? So I can just put pressure on this. If you need more pressure, you can put pressure like that and take a deep breath in and release through your nose. Your exhale should be longer than your inhale. You want to send a signal to your neurological system that these positions are okay. It's not a threat, because if it senses a threat, it's going to tense up, and that's not going to be very helpful when we're doing releases. So a long exhale signals that parasympathetic system, the relaxed system, to kind of dial up. The sympathetic and the parasympathetic system, you know, the fight or flight and the rest to relax, are like two dials, right? One doesn't go totally off, one doesn't go totally on. They're two dials. You want to dial up and dial down. And that's a sign of a healthy neurological system when you can do that. Okay, so that's how you're going to work the side of your shin. I'll show you from the side. So I'm on the middle, and now I'm going to work off to the side. And I'm going to press and release. Press and release. If I find a tender spot, I can stay on it and just breathe. Okay, so now we're going to work lower into the ankle and the foot. We'll get down here. And you might need some extra pressure. So you can use this leg and sit back and do the same thing. It's a little harder to get some pressure down there, but so I'm going to start here, and I'm going to press and release. I'm going to press and release the top of that area, and I'm going to work even further down. Sit back on it, get some pressure, and roll. Press and release. Press and release. And then we want to work on the top of the foot. So we do the same thing. We're going to start working the top of the foot. You might need some extra pressure. And just work the top of the foot like this. Press and release. Deep breath. I'm talking to you, but you should be breathing through the whole thing. In through your nose, out through your nose. Deep breath in and release. When you get down to your top of your foot, that's where something with a little bit of softness and some spikes can help. Okay, maybe get a little more input into that top of the foot, but with soft spikes, not hard spikes. It's a very squishy ball. You can see I can really press down that ball, but that can give you a little different sensation. You can roll across it with that. It's a little easier by pressing and getting the top of the foot, pressing, coming across it. You can do the same thing with a roller. If you don't have something like this, but you have a roller, so you do the same thing. I'll go from the side. So it might be easier for some people just to use the roller. So I'm going to go off to the side, and I'm going to press and release. Deep breath. Release. And you work yourself all the way down. Now, a nice way to finish this off, to get a stretch, is to do a single leg rock, but just hold a position. So this would be a single leg rocking motion, something like this. But what I want to do is just get down as far as I can, keep my foot in that position, and just try to get down on the shin. Now when I'm here, I'm going to do an isometric contraction. So I'm going to push my foot into the ground for 4 seconds with about 20% of my effort. So 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, and release. So take a deep breath in. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, and release the breath through your nose. And as you can see, I can get deeper and deeper into this position. Deep breath in, and press. 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, and release. Deep diaphragmatic breath, 3D breathing. You're expanding the rib cage, right? It's going out in a three-dimensional way through your back. Your diaphragm's expanding. The breath is going from the diaphragm up through your rib cage into your chest. Deep breath in. So it goes up, flows like water, right? It goes up from your diaphragm into your rib cage, up into your chest. 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, and release. And you can hold that position as long as you want. Now, if you can't get there, if that's what you got, then you do it from here. You know, it's where you go. You don't have to be where I am. And many people can do it, you know, have more flexibility than I do, so they can even get deeper. Okay, so that's going to finish off the spiral line. At Golf Training Hacks, we not only want you to play better golf, but we want you to move better and feel better every day, so you can play the best golf of your life for the rest of your life.